Now, as we are in MSME event, so as we all know the kind of contribution MSME is making in India's growth story. So, but it has got its own challenges. So that has got some challenges related to labors as well, labor laws and labors. So we would be taking the opportunity to invite our next speaker, our existing president, Mr. Indranil Banerjee, who would be talking on the labor codes, the emerging human resource management agendas of MSMEs. Because MSME is contributing almost 45% of the India's exports, as I said earlier, and 30% of the country's GDP. And the G20 presidency has come back to India this year once again. And I'm sure the kind of FTAs the government is signing with various countries, including the EU, which is coming up maybe on 27th of this month, the significance and importance of the MSME sector is further to grow. So with that note, may I invite Mr. Indranil Banerjee, but before that, a small introduction about Mr. Indranil Banerjee. He is an MB and BSc honors during during his 3.5 decades of professional journey. He has exposed to thermal, hydro, solar, pump storage, generations, distributions, HR, training, legal, regulatory, customer contract, labor management issues of the state-owned power major. And currently, he is the honorary president of Calcutta Management Association, as we have already said. He is working as, I think, additional general manager in WBSEDCL. He is a nominated member of the National Council of AIMA and ASSOCHAM, respectively. So, request to Mr. Indranil Banerjee to take us through the various labor codes, the emerging HRM agendas of MSMEs and trends. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam. So, when we talk about HR with MSME, there is a huge disconnect. Okay. MSME is a very wide agenda word. This may be a particular micro-organization starting maybe with 2 people, or maybe growing up to investment of 500 crores. So, to club them in a single segment is very difficult. And more so, when you talk about the agendas for any investors or any business entrepreneur, these are the immediate concern. So, right from ideation of the subject, the people intend to start their business, to all the issues that cropped up in our mind. So, we left with compliance-oriented HR. Just now we had talk from Mr. Abhishek, and we saw that in the state government, in the portal, they have already tried to minimize the hassles. So again, HR in MSME, I think, is a very, much unheard word. वो तो खुद कर लेंगे. That kind of philosophy runs in our mind. But now, when you talk about export-oriented MSME, which is contributing 40% to us, and many of the country, now they are looking for SDG compliance, ESG compliance, ITM and services. So the question becomes, if we do not have that kind of strong manpower backed with us, with particular knowledge of the current economy, knowledge of the international market, how we can prosper, how we can grow. So before going into the particular topic, as you all of you know that there are 4 codes, right? The notification has already been given by the Government of India on 21st of November, and they have asked for people to give their comment so that they can formalize the rules governing the acts. So we'll get into those things later on. Let us just quickly wrap through the happening in the business area in India, in West Bengal, in Kolkata in particulars. So these are the pointers. Main thing is that Mr. Mukhopadhyay just said 30% of business is given by the MSMEs. So they are the backbone of India. And we talk about Viksit Bharat, we need to give full support to MSMEs. And actually that was the fundamental idea in the initial word I said to start this conclave 2 years back. So far CM is concerned, we this year to strengthen these ideas, we developed 4 subcommittees. One is sunrise sector. They are looking after the new economy areas where we have minimal presence. So for CMA membership and CMA activity is concerned. Then, as you see that JNG is little bit disconnected. So we need to bring them because ultimately the organization will prosper with their presence. Thirdly, technology has become part of all management activities. Every day you are seeing that AI in HR, AI in marketing, AI in supply chain management. So these are the topics flooded in the industry. And whenever you check your YouTube, you will find all this thing, the type of programs. So we try to bring that technology part in our activity, which was earlier not that much present. And more so because in the earlier presentation we saw there are so many inputs that that is benefited by the systematic knowledge. So we also integrating our academic wing. So the one subcommittee is there who are interacting with the academics so that you can get the research inputs. You already have the PDF of this particular conclave at the time of registration. There is an article, you can get many important points from that. As you know that last financial, the existing categorizations based on the financial turnover and investment has been changed. So this is the current status, and thus we expect to get our more investment in the MSMEs from the different investors. So the industry is expected to grow more and more. So far West Bengal is concerned, we have a very robust MSME ecosystems. The main thing that currently on all India basis we are ranked 4, and we will intend to continue good in the given industries. But again, the competition is very tough. As you know, the export-oriented business, basically it is very much dependent on the export-oriented growth of the MSMEs. So, and as because international expectation is high in terms of quality, in terms of other standardizations, we need to learn these international practices. And that's why we cannot just depend on our own knowledge and need to update our knowledge on regular basis. And that is why HR will be having some say in the coming days, maybe later on in a big way. Again you say, might be the Kolkata and neighboring 2 districts are having the pivotal, the growth area. But again, when you talk about the volume of business, the big ticket MSMEs, that is much more focused on in Kolkata itself. And this is the, this will give some idea about this opinion. You can see that Kolkata is having good around 1.5K. So these are the industries that we identified. Kolkata is doing good for many years and is continue to do good. Obviously, if the support is existing support and existing practice are keep on pondering upon us. These are the identified HR challenges. Often, as because most of them are entrepreneur-driven, the organizations might be the lack of knowledge makes a difference. Now, let us come to the main topic. Again, as because you note that the process, the baby has just born. Okay, the 4 code came into force effectively 21st November. Many things, the rules are yet to be done by the central government. There is activity from the state government. So these are the issues because I think this is a little bit early, but we saw that many of the organizations are coming out with this particular topic and they are charging high. So we thought let us have a free discussions on a session that will give some idea, and later on, say after 2-3 months, we can have small workshop to cater your particular expectations, because might be this is not required for everyone. We have MSME of say 3 or 4 persons or maybe 10 people in the, as a workforce, and there may be some MSME having good numbers of workforce. So this is not the issue that it fits everybody, but the policy wise, we thought to introduce this session so that that can give some kind of layer and some kind of understanding to understand the emerging challenges that you have to take forward in the coming days. So these are the 4 level code that come out merging 20 numbers of Central Act. So I'll try to scan through the individual codes. There are three parties, okay? Entrepreneurs or the investors in one side, the employees in the other side, and the governing Niyamak Sanstha, government in third party. They are coming out with the policies and the act. So it would be very difficult to, if someone asks whether it is employer friendly or employee friendly, it is very difficult to give that kind of judgment. I think there are issues which are positive to employees. There are issues, just we talked about EODB. There are issues where some points are there which is very good for the employer. Okay, so we'll try to identify those catchy areas.
Technology snag is always a challenge.
Can it? Yeah. Thank you. So all these 4 acts, the first 3 was very known to all of us. Okay. So now they are into the cold storage. But yes, till that time, the code is fully operationalized. This will continue to give the guidance. Okay. So that is the repealing effect of this particular code. We'll talk on that later on. These are the biggest highlight, because when you file form for ESI, for PF, for ascertaining bonus, you are hovering around what is the definition of wage. In this 29 acts which was repealed, there is a 12 definition of wages. So the biggest thing is that we don't have to skip through the pages. Okay, there is only one definition that will be guided for all the benefits, all the activities, all the social benefits. So next challenge is in the earlier days, for ascertaining the PF, For ascertaining the PF, we know the basic and DA was applicable. But to cut short the responsibility, often the incentive and the other allowance in that particular category or that particular demarcation, the employer is to give more emphasis with less regard to the basic and DA component. Now this act has very clear that whatever may be the pay package, 50% has to be the basic and DA component, which is the definition of wage. If somebody working in the industries like sugar or constructions where the labor force has to retain because the activities are often seasonal in nature, then the retention allowance will also be considered as the part of the wage. So now this is a catch, and this is an area where all the MSMEs has to ponder their thoughts. What should be the structures? So suppose 10,000 was the salary. Salary part is 10,000. So in that case, PF will be 12.5. Okay. So you can identify it will be around 1250 kind of thing. Okay. Now you have an opportunity that you cut the salary into 50%. Basic and salary, and rest of the amounts, maybe you are giving HRA, maybe you are giving convenience allowance. So 5,000 has to be the base salary. So based on your employee, you may work out how it can be adjusted in the coming days. Okay. So this is one area that we should give a particular thought. Earlier we know that 7th day was for the succeeding month was the last date of payment, it was so. But if the industry size, your employee strength is more than 1,000, there is a provision to make payment up to 10th of the day. So now that has been adjusted, and 7th is the day that within that you have to make payment. Gender equality is always there. It is much talked about. Practice is an issue, and as a investors, I request that since West Bengal is having maximum number of women-oriented or women-led MSMEs, this is, I think, very good that the industry as a whole will adopt in practice, in reality. So another thing is the fixation of there will be pan-India rate. Okay. Individual state will be having their say, but in any case that cannot be less than the pan-India rate. So this would be another challenge, but you need to see what kind of notifications comes up, say after 4-5 months. That will be good time. I think by that time we will be having the central rule as well as the state thought on the whole process. This is another area. Often for the purpose of our to avoid criticality, we engage less people. Try to engage. Head-wise we will engage, keep less people and engage them on overtime basis. Other than the factory, the normal rate was say same rate. Now just like factory, all the industry has to pay double the rate if somebody is written as on overtime basis. So this is another area that I think the entrepreneurs who are engaging numbers of people, laborers, they should keep in mind. Your bench strength has to be more than the current situations. Bonus is another area that we should look into. As you know, the 8.33 allocable surplus, it was earlier due so, but now if your allocable surplus covers more than minimum wages amount, which is say 8.33, your allocable surplus goes beyond than that, then you have to give more bonus. So I think this is an area where we should give some thoughts. Another very, very interesting thing that will come up, that the inspector will not only be the inspector, they have to have their thought leadership, they have to give your support, they are really positive. Dandabaji nahi chalega only. Okay. So facilitating thing is there, but again, how this is going to be happen, that has to be seen in the coming days. As you know, we know that often as MSME, we do engage ourselves with the big brothers, maybe as a subcontractor, or maybe the big brother contract out to us. In that case, there is a new thing that is emerging. That is, now there is no question of sham contracting. You can really supply the labor which was not part of earlier regime. We used to supply labor, but in terms of some work order, not directly as a labor. I am supplying 10 labor, unskilled labor. This type of activity was barred in the earlier regime. Now this is a positive thing. Now we can definitely, introduce you as a labor supplier. Might be many of us will be interested to play this kind of role. Not only in West Bengal or Kolkata, we can go to the interstate areas also. Only thing that in that case, we have to provide yearly home coming and going allowance. Travel journey once in a year, that has to be given, and they will be benefited. Now they are not part of the public distribution system. Whenever we go to the western part of the country, we see many boys are Bengali speaking. Okay, you go to Surat, you go to Maharashtra, different kind of, and you'll see that anyway you will listen the Bengali language they are talking about. Often I wonder and ask how you started talking, because I am from Murshidabad, I am from Kharagpur, Medinapur, this kind of utterance from there. So there is a big numbers, but in that case, public distribution system was not reaching to them. Now it is up to them whether they will get the support of the public distribution system from home or the place they are working at. So this is a positive thing that has been developed under this current regime. These are quite usual, so I am not focusing on much on this. Time is also another serious thing. Now, the definition of employee is very specific. I have kept the one bracket. I think this is an area where you can explore with less kind of responsibility, but aiming positively to those new recruits. So, under this particular regime, apprentice will continue to be the not employee. So you can engage for their your industry as well as their future growth. Third one, I think last one is very significant. Okay. Earlier, in case of disease of employer, there was a hue and cry. Who will look after? Whose responsibility is this? This current regime is very categorically has expressed that legal representative of the employer will continue with will be continue with the employer. So we talked about definitions of labor laws. Very specific. In the earlier regime, for the purpose of calculation of PSI contribution, overtime used to be taken care of. Now you don't require to do so. Whether you are contributing for PF or ESI, the definition of wage is continue with the same. Third point is very important. Earlier it was so, But again, I will emphasis the bonus has to be paid within the next 8 months, that is November. That's why we do it during Durga Puja. Okay. So that is the provision of the act. Last one is very important. In case there is any conflict related to bonus, it will be regarded as industrial dispute. So again, that will be part responsibility of the Industrial Relation Code. Another thing we often read that government has a big amount of unclaimed PF. There is no subscriber after disease of the subscriber. There is no claimant, and there is no mechanism to where this will continue to invest by the PF. Now this particular regime has created a positivity that in that case appropriate government, that is state or central or whatever, thank you, they will take a call and decide where this amount to be used. So I think that will be good for, the thing is, I somewhere read it is around 64 crores, 64,000 crores total amount is unclaimed. So now there will be some, this can be invested for other welfare measure or activities for the humankind. And only after payment of this, the liability will be covered, complete. Another thing is very important that requires cash flow also. Suppose somebody is exit from your system, is discharged or resigned, all claims has to be settled within 2 working days. So that is a challenge, I think. So we have to keep this thing in our mind before hiring or firing. Role of inspector in the current regime will be very interesting to see. Let us how it unfold in the coming days. The term is very, very clear that he has to have a positive, bring positive vibes for the industry, so that it can rise further. The last word I spoke in the very beginning. In case till the time this particular law which is underway since 21st of November. Government notifications, all this governing rules comes up, the existing act will, the provision of the existing act, that is Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, this will continue to run, minimum wages. Okay. Now, if you are interested to, we can quickly run through other 3 code. But if you have any questions on this particular code, please.
Sir, at the outset, I must compliment you, but you said you are talking about labor, but I found that you have covered the entire gamut of the MSMEs. And therefore, my question is also addressed in the same manner. All that you have said is extremely good, but at the end of the day, we have to succeed at the marketplace. Therefore, the MSMEs that produce products here, now how do we ensure that they are so competitive and so good in quality compared to the Chinese material that people buy, so that we will ensure that we don't have to import anything from China and we come to the same situation which the US did, the mistake of transferring all manufacturing to China, and today they are doing, in Hindi we call Hai Toba. So it doesn't make any sense. So can we not do that, and how do we do that? I think it is possible. I have worked in 40 years in industries, multiple industries in West Bengal. So I know it is possible, but we have to work out how it is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There are 2 points. I think the particular topic on the hard part of the HR, and what we are looking for the soft part of the HR. And you are expecting me to talk something about the soft part of the HR. Definitely. If there is no software, it is very difficult to stay in the market. In the first of my slide, I stated one thing,
that might be at the when the for the initial entrepreneur, these are the things not to be seen. Important how to create the brand, how to ideate, how to generate the market, how to get a good supply chain management system. If all these things are not there, the business or might be the funding for growth, how to make export to the new areas. These are the immediate concerns. I completely endorse your views, and that's why they kept those things in the very beginning of my slide. Initially I said that HR is not the immediate concern for a fresh entrepreneur. But at the same time, unless until we know the boundary of our business, okay, it may create problem for us. Suppose out of just string of blood, I just fire someone. So immediately after say 10 years he worked or she worked, now he is exiting. Now I should have the amount to release his claim within 2 days. So that is another challenge. Okay. And definitely you are talking about the soft part of the HR. We hope that if the MSME sector is very interested, we will try to hold the workshop for them. Because again, the things we are talking about, how to keep our market live. So our salespersons or the middleman has to be given that kind of inputs. How they are going to compete with the Chinese product? There might be something which attracts me in terms against the Chinese product. That has to be understood, and that's why it is very important. We can say this is a 100% eco-friendly product. Might be the Chinese counterpart which you are getting in the market at 50%. Might be not having the same thing. So if you are into the business, competitors' activities has to be understood in totality. Okay, so this is not the thing that only the HR can make good or supply chain can make good. It is a composite system and in modern management, and that is the reason why we introduce technology particularly in our activities. Earlier, technology and management, I think there is some kind of disconnect. There is a disconnect with industry as well as academia. Okay. But we try to figure out how we can do it better. So suppose might be the inputs I provided, it is outcome of the research. So if there is no research findings, this I could not share it with you. So I have to have connections with the academia also. Only this kind of a positive ecosystem can help us to through this our expertise and reach out to our some kind of destinations. Because again I cannot say this is a destination, rather it is journey. There is a roller coaster journey, roller coaster situations. Sometimes I will have positive, sometimes I will have bitterness also. So that is my simple taking. And if I am aware about the how to combat the Chinese market, then might be the forum would have been somewhere different. Anyway, thank you for your inputs. So if you are interested, then otherwise maybe when from November when we will be starting our workshop. If you are interested, then I can do it now. I don't know whether time is available or not. MC sir? Okay. So this is IR? Okay. So you can see the very first, again it is a very, far-reaching, again it is policy. There is a question. There is a provision of creating social security fund. How this will be funded? Who will be supporting in what content? These are the rough boundary. So once the government will come out with the regulations, definitely we will learn. That's why we kept rather than jumping into the activity right now. This kind of works will be done later on, say maybe after 2-3 months. By that time, I think industry will be matured so far the provisioning of different codes are concerned. But it is very significant when you see that suppose you are firing someone getting exit from your system. So what will do? Actually, if you see that now the entire gamut of ecosystem is we are sitting on the atom bomb. There is recently I was thinking For the government sector, for the ladies, women worker, there are provisions of child care leave. Okay. The provision, what is child care leave? Suppose if a lady having two issue up to 18 years of their age can take special leave up to 2 years time. Why this? For nurturing the children till the time he or she gets into adulthood. तो 18 साल तक ये चलेगा. So this is one way, and similarly the same in the other table somebody was working hand to mouth. There is, forget about child care leave, there is no CR also. They are working no work no pay basis. So उसका बच्चा हो गया कि इंडिया का बच्चा नहीं है क्या? सोचिए आप, क्या उसके लिए कोई जिम्मेवार नहीं है? So that's why I'm talking that we all are sitting on the atom bomb. It is very important that we have created very good questions. Unless we ponder upon these areas, might be the objective of this course may not be in true space. So that is also, just suppose this is very good thing. Worker reskilling fund, establish a fund to train retrenched employees. Once the person has been fired, he has to be given more new skill. Just a couple of days back, might be many of us have seen that often the graduates are earning less than the diplomas, the fitters, the basic artisans. So this is a big challenge, because industry as well as shifting from the skill-driven area rather than the basic fundamental education-based learning, it becomes skill-based learning. So it is very many of the universities are not having the students. Even big brand school of Kolkata is starving for the students. You have seen? Might be you notice for another 4, 5, 6 months, you'll get more and more informations. So these are the new challenges that we are into this regime. So I think this is a very important step by the government, where the reskilling fund has been introduced. But now how this fund will be operative, that is a separate thing, time will speak. But obviously this is very important, because suppose I am being fired, my personal liability, my family liability doesn't end there. So that human approach has to be there. Earlier the organization used to recruit management training, and at the end of the day they become, we had many general managers out of them. And now you see, most of the entry is the lateral. They get into the organization in the middle level, not even knowing what the organization is all about. They are starting ruling the departments. So you can see these are the hard reality that we have to handle with. And only time will speak, because suppose the education system, बच्चे अगर नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो क्या होगा? That is another thing. अगर बच्चे पढ़ेंगे, what is utility? Just recently, a month back, we tried to introduce a TEDx speaker, okay, on mental health. And many of our, at least couple of our, otherwise very stubborn supporter said, क्या होगा उसको करके? हमारा ये चीज़ तो हमारा इसमें ही है, YouTube में हम देख लेंगे. Now suppose our baby starts saying that what ABCD पढ़ने के लिए हम ऑफिस क्यों जाएंगे, कॉलेज स्कूल क्यों जाएंगे? I can do it online. So, this is a big challenge that the coming days will unfold. But it is a serious thing. Grievance redressal system is another, like any, just Mr. Abhishek talk about a grievance redressal system in his area. Even in the labor area, there is a grievance system. This is the first time in the trade union. Earlier, registration of trade union was there. There was no such provision for recognition. Now, in the current regime, the recognition part has been reckoned. In case you have a population who are 51% of them are registered or part of any particular block, that particular block will be recognized. Even if there is no such recognized entity having 51% of the workforce in their bracket, then the bodies having more than 20% will be part of the council of negotiation. So suppose there are 4 entities having there some kind of leadership having 20% each of the working class, then you have to have a council comprising of these 4 leaders. So again, that is a new challenge. Sole bargaining agent only in case of 51%, multiple bargaining agent if they have 20% worker in their belly. So these are again it is, I think it is higher challenge for the small scale industries. May not be good for micro, but small. If there is a positives also. Earlier, if you have more than 100 people, you need to have government permission before closure. Okay, that was the provisions. Now, that numbers has gone up to 300. So this is a big positive. So hire and fire system will be more, prominent. You don't require government permission. You don't have to reach with for this that I'm for the business laws. I am shutting it down. I'm closing my business. That kind of thing, because now since 300 is the threshold point, you can close without further interventions. Done. Okay. That was part of two of the code. Sometime we will again talk about the social security and occupational safety. Thank you for your patience and giving questions. If any further questions, you can have a couple of questions we can take. I think Anirban, is that okay? If you have any question on this. Please. But remember the disclaimer, okay? Even before starting the session, I said this is that a baby that has just born. So just graduate him. Don't make him graduate right now. What?
Yeah. So my question is that I've spoken with a lot of HRs. So it's more on the proactiveness of the HR. Like you talked about mental health. You have to repackage it to the HR key. You're not only you having a dedicated counselor for mental health, you're also having that counselor for whistleblowing. That could be a repackaging. For example, it also depends ki the HR is taking the decision on who is taking the orientation program. So for example, financial health is also very important. We're talking about social security. So what kind of help can for example, company for offensive industry ask from Department of MSME to organize it in certain in certain government sectors to talk about the financial health, because wherein any third party contender or say subsidiaries of banks come in and they talk about insurance being an investment, which is completely untrue. So there has to be a lot of quality on who is taking the orientation program, and some collaboration from Department of MSME on that.
Yes, absolutely. I personally feel the HR is first line of defense so far governance is concerned. And if I am not truthful to the actuals, I think the whole thing become of no use. Might be many words may not be palatable to our ears. Okay, we may not like, but the truth is truth. If you just, if you keep it hide for the time being, but it won't be there forever. So that is very well taken by you. I suggest that this is the reason that we introduce many things. First, in this particular session, we have the two big banker of this part of the State Bank and UCO is Kolkata based. So they are sponsoring the event. I think so far monetary part and how funding part, definitely if somebody is interested, they can catch up. I think there is a fair also. One part. Second, so far governance part is concerned, we also recently introduced for the startup ke part, we are just in the beginning of starting an ecosystem where the seed funding can be done, and we are partnering with universities as well as some middle organizations, namely Startup Ke Pathshala. So I request that you be in touch with Anirban. Whenever such a program is there, you can definitely come and get benefited. Okay. And so far your HR requirement is concerned, definitely because our sunrise sector, our technology sector verticals, all these are made, Gen Z verticals, these are made to support. And I request you to connect to get inputs from us, as well as be in touch with CMA so that whenever such program is there, you or your representative can attend and benefit out of that. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Indranil, for this beautiful presentation. A lot of takeaways. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A couple of queries. In fact, with this inception of this labor code, first of all, we know that the notification came with effect from 21st of November. Now the question is, there is a paradigm shift as far as the definition of wages is concerned, because you need to have 50% of the basic of your total gross salary. Now, the question is that I'm more concerned about the authorities. Now, is there any timeline whereby from which, because you need to have a paradigm shift, you have to change the payroll and everything. So that is one critical point. Many people are asking whether there is a timeline from when this will be effective. Though officially 21st November is the notification date, and we know officially that this is effective from that date only. And secondly is that relating to these rules, the central rules which have come up, there are a few, we can go through these enactments of 29 acts which have been totally repealed, and we have these 4 labor codes. Now, there are certain state acts, for example, West Bengal Shops and Establishments Act, which is there, which is a state act. Now, what is the locus standi of those state acts which are maybe more or less, which are at par with those existing 29 central acts which have been repealed? So what is the locus standi? Do we need to comply with those state acts also simultaneously along with the compliance of the labor codes which is enforceable? I would request your views, please.
Okay, very tricky question. First one is very tricky question, in fact. Actually, it sounds very easy to implement. Okay. Suppose there is a pay package comprising of defined part of category of salary as well as allowances. Now, for sake of, as because this is there, and you see that 50% has to be done, now you try to cut suppose HRA from 30% to 20% to address this issue so that your cost to company doesn't get changed. Objective, as strategic partner of the business, your objective has to be that there should not be bottom line effect to the company out of these things. Now, suppose to build these things momentum, you thought to cut down your HRA from 30% to 20%. What would be the reaction to the working class? That is a serious issue that has to be taken care of. Now, I think in other way, the moment you are having now recognition of the trade union or working class, 51%, or council of party. So, if you go with them with the facts, definitely they will also understand the limitation of the organizations. But it is an issue because it is easy saying, difficult doing, to my understanding. Because the moment you try to reduce a particular allowance from certain level to other lesser level, to adjust this repercussion of PF part and I believe vis-a-vis 50% of the salary as the total compensation. So this is a definitely issue. Yes, but the working class, I may not like that. That is the tricky role of industrial relations managers, because they have to share the facts that this is the outlay out of the existing regime. Now we are into this. These are the benefits. Now you help us so that we can readjust the total pay package. Unless we redesign, it cannot be recalibrated. It is not going to be done. So this is a conflict area. Yes, but unless until the rules are not readily available, how you can do one thing. And I said also that till the time this kind of situation there, the repelling effect will be there, and the provisions of the existing act, the Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wage Act, to continue to do so. The second part questions was State Act. Now normally, when there is a central act, if the on the same topic, same state act there, the central act dominates. But labor is a collateral issue. This is an area where both the central and state has the say. So now suppose I think the thing you are talking about, West Bengal Shop and Establishment Act, that is not repealed under this particular act. The 29 numbers of act are there. State, this particular state act not been introduced there. I think in the other two slides, those total 29 acts which have been repealed was there, but somehow we not talked about that. So far IR code is concerned, Trade Union Act, Industrial Dispute Act, and Employment Standing Order. These two are covered. And in the past, the four we talked about equal remuneration, including remunerations. In Social Security, there are 13 acts that have been repealed. So if you are interested, sometime offline I can share it with you. Thank you. Okay then, thank you everybody.
Thank you, Indranil. I would request you to be on the dais itself. But before that, before we come to what Indranil told us, two things I would like to mention. Number one is we are sincerely sorry for the technical glitch which has happened or which is happening during the presentation. We are in digital India these days, so there cannot be any room for any technical glitch. Next time onwards, we'll see that it does not happen. And the second point is that as of now, we are running 45 minutes late in today's session. Mostly because we started late as we awaited for our esteemed guests and participants to arrive. So kindly cooperate with us in conducting the session because lunch is little delayed. Now coming to what Indranil told us in his presentation is basically HR. So HR is human resource, I would say human resource. He talked about an aspect of human resource. So reskilling fund, etc., he said, and these are very critical points, not only for MSMEs, but for any organizations, any business. So a lot of things to learn from his presentation. It's basically a compliance part of it. As we all have observed, if you see that today's proceedings, we started with basically ease of doing business. So we are in MSME. So what matters most is ease of doing business. So once that is done, then we are talking about what are the compliances in terms of labor laws and wages and all that, what Indranil covered. Now, basically, who does that? People does that. So there are three P's which is coming into my mind: people, process, which leads to performance. People, process, performance. So these are the three things extremely important for MSMEs, as I understand. And Indranil has touched all of these. One thing, few points what I observed from Mr. Ghosh Dostidar's presentation as well as from Indranil's presentation is that, as on date, the population of West Bengal is around 91.3 million, which is around 10 crores as we say. The urban-rural divide is 68%, 32%. What Indranil shows us is that although in terms of, let us say, MSME, we are number 4 in the country, but in terms of generating MSME business, we are having only 8% contribution, which needs to be thought of. Whether it is because of women entrepreneurs or because of non-women entrepreneurs, whatever it is, the percentage has to go up significantly. Because as we have seen Maharashtra and other states, they are in the range of 19-20%. And the pie is quite large. So there is umpteen potential, umpteen opportunities we all need to encash. Another striking point is that, see, whatever Indranil has shown us is that mostly these MSME registrations or businesses in and around Kolkata and suburban districts. That's what we have seen. 30%. 30 to 32%. So the balance has to be in the entire state. So next time I'm sure CMA will thought of doing something in Durgapur as CMA has recently started its initiative. Maybe some MSME conclave or some kind of an awareness campaign for MSMEs in the rural Bengal or let us say South Bengal. So that was another point I thought I should mention. Now before getting into the next one, may I now request Mr. Vibhor Tandon, who is the Vice President of CMA, to come to the dais and felicitate Mr. Indranil Banerjee for his contribution in today's conclave. Mr. Tandon, please.